foodies, Chef Kyle here. Who doesn't love cinnamon raisin? Today we're going to make a cinnamon raisin tart tatin. So first I'm going to start with the dough. I have 4 cups all-purpose flour. Put it in my bowl right here. I'm going to add salt to it. Baking powder. I'm going to add some fine brown sugar. And of course cinnamon. I'm going to use half of this right now. And the other half is going to go with the caramel. So I'm just going to mix that up. Now I'm going to prepare the butter. So what we're going to do is I'm going to split it in half, fold it on its side, split it again, and then we're going to quarter the butter. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to break this up when it goes in the dough. Now I'm going to get that on my parchment paper. Just going to break that up. And when you're working with butter, you want to work quickly. So basically we want 1 layer of butter. Leave a little bit of space for the last piece. Alright, now we're going to freeze the butter. We're also going to freeze the dry ingredients. Alright, now they're nice and cold. I'm going to add all the butter into my bowl. Now we're just going to toss it in the flour. I'm going to take the big chunks. I'm going to split that in half. You're going to do that with all the butter. So we want the pieces to be the size of a penny. And we want slivers of it. And that's what's going to give this dough like a extra layer of flakiness. A little bit of a well right here. Add some cold water. I want to fully hydrate this evenly. Rest of the water. Now we're going to knead this a little bit. Okay, that's perfect. See the dough holds its shape. That's what you want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line my table with 2 pieces of plastic wrap. So 1 vertical piece and 1 horizontal piece. Just going to pack it a little bit so it can fold together. Turn it over here. And then we're going to fold it over loosely. I have my rolling pin here. Just going to press it down. Now I'm just packing it together. On all sides. Okay, now that it's uniform together, we're going to chill this in the fridge for at least 1 hour. Okay, here I have a backup dough. This one's already been chilled. So this is in Hogwarts School of Magic. I'm going to flour my surface. Now we're going to do 2 series of folds. See, now this dough has been resting. It had some time to chill. I'm going to flour the top. So the first fold we're going to do is a letter fold. So what I'm basically going to do, you're going to press from the inside out, going this way, that way, and then the same thing with the other side. Okay, fold half of it in this way, fold the other half this way till they meet. Now we're going to flip it, flour the surface again. Fold it this way. I'll wrap this in plastic for about 10 minutes in the fridge. Let this chill before we finally roll it out. Okay, I have the dough. It's been chilling for about 10 minutes. I'm going to unwrap it. I'm going to flour my surface. So we're going to roll out the dough. I like to have everything organized, so we're going to do it step by step. And now, so I have a 10-inch pan over here. And I'm going to basically use a plate that's about that size. Because remember, this is a tart, so we're going to invert it. So after we make the caramel and the apples are going to sit in it, when we return it, we're going to flip it over. So ideally, you want to measure everything out beforehand. So we're going to use this as a measurement tool. And if the flour starts to stick, it's kind of hot today, so I got to work a little quicker. All right, use my plate here. I'm gonna go just around the plate, just cut around. And notice I'm not using this as a very thin pastry, so I want it to hold its weight, but I also want it to puff up. And then the leftover dough, you can always use that again. You can also freeze it. Okay, get my dough on here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna dock the dough. So that means we're gonna put some holes in it. It's gonna help the steam escape. And for extra measure, I'm gonna put one in the middle too. So you can tell there's so many layers. This is really gonna be good when it's finished. Okay. All right, cover it. Now I'm gonna put this in the fridge just before we use it. So now my favorite part of the fall, we're gonna be using apples. So here I have sugar bee apples, which are nice, crisp, and they have a slight caramel note to them. And I'm also pairing that with some lady pink apples. So lady pink apples are a little bit more tart, but are also still sweet. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna peel the apples. Just follow the contour of the apple. Okay, so we're gonna do about 7 apples, that's enough. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off the ends of each apple on both sides. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna split the apples in half. Now you can use a melon baller, but also if you don't have that, this is about a good size. Just dig into it. And the last one. Now I'm just gonna clean these up. Take out a little bit of the stem that's in there. Now we're gonna slice the apples. So I don't wanna go too big on them. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go about that size. So about 4 pieces for each half. And if you have extra apples, you know, you can always use it for breakfast, for oatmeal. I just don't want to be under with the apple because I really want to fill up the whole pie, the whole tart. I'm going to add some cinnamon, apple cider vinegar. That's going to help take out that tartness. I'm going to add some fresh orange juice, teaspoon of vanilla extract. Here's a key ingredient. So we're going to add crema tartare. It's a retarder. So what it's going to do is actually going to help retain the firmness and the shape of the apples and also prevent them from browning. I'm going to add some orange zest, 1 whole orange, and we're going to add some brown sugar for flavoring too. You give that a good toss. All right, that's looking good. Now it's going to go in our oven at 300 degrees for about 40 minutes. I'm going to roast off some of the excess water inside the apples. So after 20 minutes, just going to check on the apples and we're going to give it a quick toss. Just going to turn them. Looking nice. I could smell the cinnamon. I could smell the orange zest. Okay, another 20 minutes. All right, here I have my apples. So they were roasting in the oven for about 40 minutes. And then I separated out so the juices are separate from the apples. This is going to allow even cooking and it's going to allow for a crispier crust. So now that it's chilled, I chilled it in the freezer for about 10 minutes. Now we're going to go on to make our caramel. This is very simple. Start the heat on low. I'm going to add my brown sugar in. So we're going to start with a wet caramel. To that we're going to add some apple cider vinegar. That's going to prevent crystallization. And just swish it around. You don't want to stir any caramel because you're going to form crystallization every time you let the sugar cool. Almost there. Now I'm going to throw in the butter. Right in there. Just careful, it's going to be hot. Lower the heat. Add in my salt. Add in my cinnamon. And nutmeg. Just careful at this stage because it's very hot. Just move it around the edge. Look at that beautiful color. All right, I'm going to take the apples now and we're going to arrange them. And if you burn yourself, you can always just throw in some quick water. So if you notice the caramel has like a dark color to it, that's because I added the cinnamon and the nutmeg. So it actually changed the color of this caramel. Now we're going to go with the second layer. Even layer to this. So I'm fanning one the other way and fanning this one this way. Stick one piece in the middle. Now we're going to press this down flat. Now I have my oven at 425. We're going to give this an initial puff so this can rise, and then we're going to drop the temperature down. I'm just pressing it into the apples. So just feel around the shape for the apples. Now I'm going to go back in and tuck it in. Really press this in. I'm gonna pop this in for 20 minutes at 425. Okay. All right, so it's been 20 minutes. Now I'm gonna lower the temperature to 365 for an hour. All right, guys, I'm gonna pull this out. Look at that. Looks ready. Okay, ready? Just careful with this. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Add the final touch to it. I'm gonna add some raisins on top. It's gonna melt into it. All right, guys, get it on my board here. I'm gonna cut into a slice. Get a nice slice. The first piece is always the best. I got a little bit of ice cream to enjoy with it. Put it right on top. Where to begin? Let's go. Try this now. Ooh, nice and crunchy. This is a stunning dessert. Very classic French dessert that I made. It came out beautifully. It took a couple tries, but I finally got it. And with the ice cream, you know, you get that caramelization with the apples and the sugar. It's really such a great fall dish. And just the ice cream helps like cleanse my palate. And that creaminess just makes this like a really wholesome dessert. And touch of raisins is a nice garnish to it. If you'd like, you can actually put the raisins inside just before you bake it. This is a really great dessert. I hope you guys make it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want another perfect dessert recipe for the fall, check out my pumpkin bread. It's amazing. Click the link at the end to find out.